Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about protecting your kids on their Chromebooks. Let's get started. So as you know, the internet is full of traps, places that you never ever want your kids to go. So how can you protect them on their Chromebooks? I should start by saying that this method, the methods that I will explain in a minute here, will and do apply to any grade level. So the very first place that I want to start is location. Now, what do I mean by location? Well, that's just talking about where is your student with their Chromebook. This is king because boredom, bedroom, and darkness are the recipe for disaster. So if I may be so bold as to suggest, don't let your students use their Chromebooks in their bedrooms. Now I understand sometimes that is their classroom space, but maybe start to think about how you can reconfigure, because I'm telling you, boredom, like I said, boredom, bedroom, and darkness is the worst for your kids. Now I will spend an entire episode on configuring your home network to protect your kids, but real quick, I would highly recommend you looking into the Griffin router. It is a very, very capable router for a home that is 3,000 square feet. Now, you can add additional Griffin routers to cover a larger area, but I'm telling you, it's a really, really good option. You might want to look into it. I will cover it in the router episode. I'm planning on doing a series now of how to protect your kids on the internet. But let's cut to the chase. Let me show you what you can do on their Chromebook to protect them. So here I am on the Chromebook. Unfortunately, you can't see the login display because I haven't been able to configure it to that option yet. But what you're going to need to do is make sure that you are the first person that logs onto their Chromebook. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is what you need to, if you haven't logged on the first on the startup screen, then what you need to do is a power wash. Okay, so here we are at the login screen, and you can tell that a student has already logged onto this computer. Therefore, I did not log on first. Why? First, I should have explained, why does this even matter? Well, you need to be the administrator of the device. Okay, so what you need to do is make sure that everybody is logged out. You can do that by clicking down here where the time is, and it will say if somebody is logged in or not. You can go ahead and log them out, and then you hit Shift Control Alt R. Shift Control Alt R. Again, that is Shift Control Alt R. So that's the bottom left of your keyboard, those three keys, and then the R key. And then what you're going to see is something to this effect, and click Restart. I'm going to be cutting in and out over the course of this recording, since I don't want you to have to sit through the entire process. Okay, now after that, it's going to pull up this screen. Well, it's going to do a restart, and it's going to pull up this screen. And you're going to go ahead and hit Power Wash, which is in the lower right. Confirm your power wash, and it should be reset after this. So you'll see a few different screens over the course of this restart. Some look kind of like, whoa, what's going on? If you just read it, it explains it's power washing. Now, power washing, what that does, you don't have to be worried about your data. All of that data is actually stored up in the cloud, at least most of it, and I'll get into what's not. But the majority of the data that you care about is stored in the cloud on some Google server. So when you power wash your device, it just resets the whole thing to default. And then once you log in, you can then get all of that cloud data back. Now, what is not saved is any files that you have downloaded. Let's say you downloaded a picture, a document, etc., onto the Chromebook, which is not that much because typically Chromebooks only have about 16 gigabytes of data. And the other factor to consider is that typically files that you download do exist on the web already, so you don't have to worry about deleting them on your device, since you can re-download them from the web. Now, unfortunately, you cannot see this, but I am on a welcome screen. You can see the secondary screen behind me. It's on a welcome screen right now, and so it's just fairly simple. You just click through the prompts, and you're going to be asked to sign in. So go ahead and sign in, and that will make you the administrator. One note is you have to have a Gmail account in order to do this. You can't have Yahoo. So if you don't have that already, get on some other device. Well, I think actually you can. You might be able to create an email on a Chromebook, but at any rate, you can do it on another computer. Go to Gmail and create a Gmail account. Okay, so as the admin of this computer, there's a few things that I want to do. Firstly, I want to restrict who can use this device, and I also want to apply a filter to the internet traffic. So let's start with who can use this device. The main concern with any Chromebook is guest mode. Guest mode allows anybody to use the device, and in incognito mode. Incognito means that it does not save any history, any browsing history, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very secretive. You don't want it. Okay, so let's go to the people settings. We get there by clicking in the lower right hand corner by the time. Click the gear cog icon and then type people in the search. This should pull up the manage, if you spell it correctly. There we go. It'll pull up the manage other people's option. Click that, and then you'll see here that there are several options. And the first option is the one we want to turn off, which is exit or enable guest browsing. Blue is on, gray is off. So now no guests or anonymous people can use the computer. The next thing you might want to check out is the restrict sign in to the following users. Once you flip this on, it has this option to add a person. You can then go ahead and add your students, therefore restricting only to them. This is, you can consider a liability measure. Now, let's tackle the internet filter. Now, to do this, we are going to mess with something called DNS. To explain this, please welcome Dr. Tuteki. Welcome, students. Let me explain DNS in really fast forward mode. You do not have to understand this to progress through the video, so you can go ahead and feel free to skip too. So computers, they talk in numbers. For instance, they might want to access a certain website, and that website has a number. But since us humans just can't really think in numbers very well, we like to associate those numbers with real names or text-based names, such as abc.com. Now, these numbers are linked. They are effectively the same, the human version and the computer version. Now, we need something to keep a record of the relationship between the two, and that is where this comes in. It is, DNS stands for Domain Name Services. Regardless of the name and the explanation of what a domain is and all that, it links the numbers with the names. So let's think about this for a second. Let's say that you had a DNS server which fudged the numbers. Instead of being able to go to porn.com, it would send you to some innocent website. Let's just say the Google. So it would take the explicit websites, porn.com, and associate them with very innocent and unassuming, well, typically just some blank page that says, hey, sorry, you can't go here. The nice thing about this method is that if you use certain DNS servers, your device is protected no matter where you go. Bear in mind that there are ways around it. So, for what it's worth, it works. Thank you, Dr. Tuteki. Let's get back to the application. So, starting from the home screen, you hit in the lower right-hand corner by the clock. Again, hit the cog, and then you're going to be looking for your Wi-Fi that you're connected to. In this case, it's the first option in the drop-down or the screen, and you're going to click this arrow just to the right of the Wi-Fi. Here you'll see all of the available internet access points, or SSIDs as they're really called technically, and you're just going to be clicking on the one that your student is connected to. I should say click on the arrow to the right of the SSID that your student is connected to. We're then going to look further down the page for the network, and you're going to hit the down arrow, which should pull up these settings here. Scrolling down, you will see something called name servers, and that is basically domain name services, the area where you will set them. Instead of having automatic servers, I would suggest clicking custom name servers, or this is what you need to do if you want to follow along. And then I'm going to tell you the IP address that you need to enter. And these are the IP addresses, so I'm going to go ahead and type them into the first and second line of my custom name servers. And there you have it. I've typed them into my custom name servers list. No need to save. The computer has already taken these servers and are using them for name resolution. Okay, so let's actually see what happens when we type porn.com in. So here I have google.com. Enter. Just fine. Well, let's see what happens when I type, oops, if I could just, porn.com. If I press enter, you can see it just doesn't let me go there. So that is a great way. Now, it's not bulletproof. There are holes in it. So in the videos to come, I'm going to be explaining additional measures that you can take. Nice thing about this is that it will go anywhere with the student, wherever they go. So again, just a quick recap. First thing, please be careful with the location that your student is with their device. Again, darkness, bedroom, and boredom are a recipe for disaster. The next thing that you could possibly do is, really, I'll get into that in another video. The last thing, as a recap, is setting up the Chromebook, you as an admin, and then changing those couple settings. So that should tremendously help your student stay and do what they should. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.